my composure. No longer my lover, finally finished and you did it. Girl, you really showed me. Think with your heart, don't think with your body. Clever. Sorry not sorry, sorry not Justin Timberlake, write me a river. Lately I be having conversations with myself cause I feel like I have nobody to talk to. I be having conversations with myself cause I feel like I have nobody to turn to. Everything was green light, now we got the red. Could've had somebody else, chose you instead. I be having conversations with myself cause I feel like I have nobody to talk to. You tried to convince me it was all in my head, and I felt like it's not you, it's me instead. Hey, I wanted to rock with you, roll with you. Said you was my baby girl, then you left me too. Everything was kosher, perfect like a poster. Then I got word that you wanna leave a picture. Off with somebody else, off with the jerk. With the shame on me, I really thought that it could work. Off with somebody else, off with the loser. Shame on me, I really thought we had a... Lately I be having conversations with myself cause I feel like I have nobody to talk to. I be having conversations with myself cause I feel like I have nobody to turn to. Everything was green light, now we got the red. Could've had somebody else, chose you instead. I be having conversations with myself cause I feel like I have nobody to talk to. Everything was green light, now we got the red. Could've had somebody else, chose you instead.
Yes, global greetings. Welcome to another edition of the Topics here on Real Entertainment Network. And we're here with my other host, Ras BANKIE SHABAZZ King. And we're here in with another edition of the Topics. Good evening, Oli. Good evening, Layamiga. Better known as St. Kitts and Nevis, Nevis and St. Kitts. As I pronounce the names, the entire Eastern Caribbean, wherever you are in the U.S., Thailand, New Zealand, Australia, Dubai, wherever you may be locked into Real Entertainment Network. It's a pleasure having you on this edition of the Topics, and we do have a number of interesting topics to discuss, along with others that you may want to put on the table as you may be listening to us via our live Facebook feed, our Twitch live feed, or our YouTube feed. And we offer you the opportunity to make your comments and also to call in and be a part of the show. The number to call in is 1-869-662-7196, or you can also use 1-869-665-8459 if you want to be a part of the program. If you want to, bring your topic to the table, and we can seek to entertain that. All we would ask is for you to be, respectful, be as forceful and as passionate as you can be, but please be as respectful and, let's just engage in some very interesting discussions as we continue on this edition of the Topic. So with that said, I'm going to move over to the other host, Ras BANKIE, and have him, present his opening statements, and then we get into the show for this evening. So, Ras BANKIE, global greetings, King.
Yes, sir. Yes, and greetings to the listening and viewing audience wherever you're at the sound of our voice. Greatly appreciate you guys tuning in another Tuesday evening of the Topics. Have a lot of discussion to go on this evening as usual. So let me say good evening to the folks listening in Oli, which means Nevis, just name over in St. Kitts. This is the island Amiga. You guys tuning in, have land of and beautiful soil. So right there, we're supposed to go plenty of food. You see how lush the place is? Just a little sprinkler rain, and Mr. Lagrasse and Mr. Rain. That's all you need, and everything just bloom. You know what I'm saying? So those two gentlemen don't play Yes, so let me say good evening to the folks in the neighboring islands, Saban Station, the US Virgin Islands, the BVI, Montserrat, Antigua and Bermuda, the whole of the whole Leeward Islands and Windward Islands, also folks over in the diaspora and North America from the Florida Keys, where the all over in Texas, Atlanta, Chicago, Boston, New York, Jersey, Northern South Carolina. We do have listening people listening all over the world and throughout the United States. Also, folks over in Canada, and it's the festive season, so people do visiting the farm, coming to look for me and stuff like that. So greatly appreciate those who jump on the farm and see what's going on, and appreciate what I'm doing to keep my Uncle Mansa, name alive, and gotta always big up my cousin. Um, I'm in this, Tasha, and also I girls holding down the shop, and we work together and make sure everything fall in place and continue as usual. Cause my Uncle Mansa have left a great legacy, and it's something to continue and add to, and make sure this thing going on and continue feeding generation upon generation. Also, let me say good evening to the folks in Europe, the different time zone, Africa, Asia, wherever you're at. I greatly appreciate you guys. Could be morning, evening, or even in the night. So and late. So it's really, I can't take you guys for granted. So I was saying earlier, yes, and but this evening we'll have some different discussion and different topics and so forth. So just looking forward for the discussion as usual.
Yes, so um, number of things happening, but I must kickstart with the presentation that we had on Real Talk Corner just before the show. And I must say that I listened to a couple of the tracks that were released by the New Wave Band. And I did get an opportunity to listen to them last year as well. And just like, the comments made by the presenters earlier in relation to the seeming improvement in the band and the material and what they're doing, it's really a good look and a good look for some young youths who are stepping up and seriously seeking to represent and making a name for themselves in that arena. In some cases, we hear a lot where some are not participating and they say that, young people are not being involved and so on. And so here you have some youngsters who are definitely saying, hey, look, we're not going to let this, art form die. We're going to step up and we're going to represent. And we're not just going to represent, Nevis. We're going to do this thing, on a level where we are seeking that international appeal. And I say that because of the music and the quality that I'm hearing from what I would have heard earlier on this evening, and especially that track also that was featured seemingly one of the favorites of Ira and I think Reese might agree as well. That Confessions song, it has a very international appeal. It's a song like that. It's like one of those songs that, as I listen to it, I'm not even just hearing a song that's going to be big on Nevis for the Sculpturama, or a song that's going to be big for St. Kitts for Carnival, but I'm hearing a song that's out there like Marshall Montana, like those big names. That one of the songs that's going to be etched out there in the music fraternity, and so it's good to see the youth have taken it and it's seemingly that serious about the art form. And I just hope that we can continue giving them the support. And also at the same time, I think one of the lead vocals for the band, Ruko Dan, young singer who would have, jumped into the arena in terms of professionally performing, I think last year as well, and would have made, some serious waves in the arena, and is now today in Antigua about to perform in a very international soca event. And so he's out there this evening representing Nevis and representing the Federation. And when the youths are doing good, Banky, we have to. A lot of the times, we not us as me and you, but most of the people in the general public, when something bad happens, and it involves the youths, they're quick to label all the youths and say the youths them bad and the youths them do it, and they jump on those stories. But when the youths are doing good, we're not hearing that similar thing, and so that they could get that similar empowerment as well to say, yeah, man, the youths are do good, and so let we help push the youths to do some more good as well. And so, even if it's just us, Banky, who's going to be those voices that say, yeah, when the youths are do a good thing, give them a forward, well, yeah, we will be, and I will be one such voice that would definitely do that. And I want to take the time to do that this evening. And also, yes, let our people go out and roar, even though you're not in Antigua. Send some support out there for Rukudan, and you know what I mean, let's see if the youth can bring back the trophy or come back with whatever it is that's out there to bring back. And you know, we can all post and share that glory as we continue. And I mean, Banky, that's just a topic. I don't know if you want to weigh in on that, but that's just how I want to kickstart the first thing, as it kind of piggybacks from, you know, what we just came from in terms of programming here on Yale Entertainment Network as well.
You let me say big up to New Waves Band, big up Ants, big up Ross, Rokodan, Young Scooby. You know what I mean? He also part of the agriculture department down by the veterinary section. So they went out to do his studies in music and stuff like that. So good youth, I was raised with him, and Scooby's family basically same. So you don't know, from Code. So when I say Scooby, I mean Mr. Barrett Bone is something man could call him and that. So he done go from real foundation since man a youth. Scooby has look out for man, don't lock up your house, man could go in the house and just see ice green and gold. As so man says, so Scooby house at all the time. So it's just pure. Once you up full, and you know what I mean, you just keep, you just always see the place, keep in order, listen to your music, watch your TV. So Scooby used to flex with man growing up, so it's not respect all the time. You know what I'm saying? So some would have to say Mr. Bauer, but this is Scooby, you don't know. It's article straight up. But the material, I love the waistline. That's a good music also. I mean, you could see that's gonna go far. And had the next one about something walk up. I mean, good vibes, New Waves, full of talent. The youth them young, you know, but remember, you know, in the US, when the youth them got talent, they leave straight high school and not even going to college and start make the money. You know, everything belongs to dollars, you know. But education is still key, because sometimes you might get injured and stuff like that. But if you get a chance to, so if you have a talent, these youth have talent the same way. So they have the experience, answer playing time. You understand? A poly bass, and they can vibe in different band the same way. Young Scooby them playing a lot of bands same way. His father is a drummer. You know what I'm saying? With Jojo and all them man in the steel pan and Janice and them and so forth. So man see this thing in the town area and be around and the kind of vibes, cause I mean Jojo class son Shanti, you know what I mean? I mean classmates since kindergarten. The man, you know what I mean? Francis with their primary school Shanti, pung up on all the drum and them, and we dance and sing and all kind of vibe. So these talent not just exist all of a sudden. These youth have this talent growing up, doing these things. So these are things man see some man can tell the story. So my thing is why I was talking about these things like this. Pay people for what the talent is. You see what I'm saying? Just you got to be certain age and all these things. We're talking about the man of young full experience. You can't pay man for this experience in a virgin. You just go further because you want to understand the music scientifically. So young should be going to put in these things to understand the theory. You don't get it experience, you know, but just you want to get it to show it on paper. But then you're going to still enhance certain things because then you're going to tune it, you know, because musicians that teach these classes, you know. So you're going to fine tune him skills and say, wow, I could have beat the drum now. Really, drum now. You see what I mean? So it's to fine tune the man in a sense, but being around to play with all these different bands and the island, they mean that they have a lot of respect for the youth same time. But still all this our Korean all them vibes, it's good vibes. So that's what Miss one them person, that's what I can use. Keep your stuff business, my virgin. When you go to play for anybody, take a deposit and all these things, what is culture, it's nothing, it's just business. Because when anybody else come around, they get paid in advance, special hotel, whatever water to drink, and all this kind of energy. When I do business with tourism department, when it comes to the Mango Festival, I see them a proposal, you have to pay me certain time upon these things, boom, boom. I have no issue, my money in my account, and that's it. If money in the account, me not show up, virgin. You understand? Because those who fly in and all this and that kind of stuff, you pay them.
Right.
All these guys I talk to Woodies, I talk keep your stuff business. Always get your stuff typed up and give them and these are a proposal. If any reason, whatever, you change your invoice, anything, but you have to come to understanding, you need your deposit. After, if not, you need to be paid in full. for whatever reason, and it done there. So these young guys got to understand, keep stuff business, brethren. You all got your talent, you all have your instrument to pay for, and all these things. And you can ask them on a discount, but you got to keep it business. What do you think? I mean, Smarlax and all these bands and Survive So Long and all these other bands in Sinkits, they keep things virgin. Sensi and them, they keep things business. When you change your mind and wherever deposit, you lose your deposit. If they feel like giving them at the deposit, that's their choice, but you don't have to. That's what it is. So, yeah, man, enough respect as usual. I mean, good material, and the youth have an ear for music. He just answers them when you want. And right there, the quality of music is right there. So, it's always, I know, the future is no, YAHSONN. The future is always no. Some people think the future is
But
supposed to be 50 years from now.
it's a good thing you went through that, because I mean, even though I see these youths growing up, I didn't realize that that was Scooby Son. It's a good thing you went through and explain all of that here, because I mean, yeah, no, you're saying that I could actually attest to that. You know, I mean, them man they grow up, you know, with the music within them. So I mean, yeah, no, as you're explaining, going out to, you know, further study it is just really just enhancing and really getting the theory behind the practical that they would have already been exposed to from a youth growing up. And like you have said too, even on the local scene, they would have performed and played for, you know, he would have drummed for, I think, I saw him sometime, I think it was in Collision Band or some of them other bands and
Yes.
Sinkits and so on. And, you know, and as you mentioned, Antsman, you said he pulled bass for a number of other bands and so on. So they would have had the experience locally. It's just now for them to, as they continue to present themselves as a band. And like we have said, we have seen and heard the improvements, and they are also very much open to take on the challenge of, you know, as we would say locally, clashing with the other bands and, you know, having that statement on the road and so on and things like that. And that is how it is, and that's how you grow as well to it. It's something that we're not seeing much of, so to speak, in our you know, quest for building our bands here on Nevis, so to speak, because there's not a lot of opportunities. But I think especially during these times, as the call and the cry is out there for not just on Juve morning, but prior to that, you should have some, you know, create some avenues and experiences where two bands can meet on the road in maybe some community, or it could be in Charleston, or it could be in some other local area where they could have that little, you know, show what as they would do it and so on. You know, we're not talking about no violence or anything. We're just talking about, you know, the real fun and the real band class when, you know, two bands meet up and somebody trying to show who is, you know, we really need to be able to create more of that, so that the bands themselves too could learn to, as I've heard even from some of the other band members, that, you know, maybe playing in on the stage or playing at a set event is different to, you know, playing on the road. And if you don't get a lot of that experience to play on the road, then, you know, when you do get that one opportunity or that two opportunity, it is just not the same, because you would have gotten the opportunity prior to build your audience or your crew or your supporters and so on, who would be ready for those bigger events and so on. So it's things like that that, you know, we really, you know, need to focus on, and to help these young guys who are coming and who have these kind of ideas and who are seeking these kind of opportunities. Those who are at the helm could seek to do that, to help to continue to enhance and maintain the culture.
Yes, son. Just let me add it before we move on. So you see, when you have this kind of talent, I mean, that's what we keep talking about. You have to put millions into for youths and everyone to access small businesses, because it's a small business, and equipment costs money. They need the concessions, all these things. We're living in a system where things supposed to just move smoothly. You know who these guys are. They get the IDs, whatever. They buy the equipment. They get the duties off, and whatever, they have a vehicle to move around their equipment and stuff like that. And all these things should be afforded to these. You're not doing them no favors. This is how you build a community. because they will have children and pass on their talent to their children, or they might end up and start teaching music privately and different vibes and stuff like that. So we really got to see things in a positive way and have. That's what you see. Well, I guess I can jump into this and just jump in. 'Cause I went to a show, Mr. Cool, and jump into this in a sense one time. The Mr. Cool and the beauty. What was that? What you call it? Mr. Cool and the one with the swimwear. Cause my daughter wanted to go and I can't let her go up by herself and stuff like that. Some adult have to be there. So I said, well, plus I wanted to see what the complex look like and the village. Cause I ain't been away in a while. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm a tourist in my own place. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it was cool. And I mean, seeing people wanted to wait. Who this? What no guy that? So it was cool linking up and meeting up with people and stuff like that. So, but you see, I'm a person when something starts on time, I deal with time. So let me say kudos and big up all those who take part in the event, in the Mr. Cool, all the young guys and all the young ladies in the swimwear also. But I didn't realize until talking to people because I know you had a young lady there, but actually last time I figured the young ladies from Nevis, but then I learned today that only one contestant in each of the show, whether the swimwear was from Nevis and one in the male in the Mr. Co was from Nevis. So you see right there, I mean, which nothing is wrong with that, but over the years you will really find people in Nevis find to have the urge to just enter this contest. So something has been falling off over the years. Because the Mr. Cool had been fall off and then started again. And the swimwear. So now most of the contestants are really from St. Kitts. So if we continue like this, we'll be 100% from St. Kitts because it's practically 100% you can call it. I mean, four and
Banky,
yes, yes.
Banky, as we're having this discussion, right? I mean, yes, I think maybe it is also fitting because it's cultural and all these and these things, right? But as you said, that one of the things that jump out at me is going back to some of what I was saying initially in relation to the bands, in terms of creating opportunities for them to have that ability to be on the road more often and so on. Similarly, in relation to the shows, what you find, what I find, and I was having this conversation with somebody very recent as well, and this was one of the things that I was highlighting, that when you look at St. Kitts, St. Kitts have a lot more opportunities for a lot of these young people to expose themselves in talent exposure and or events like these because they still have a lot of community festivals and whether it's maybe political festivals that some of these young ladies and young guys get an opportunity to showcase their talents in and so on. So when it comes to now being able to take part in some of these events, they are more prone and open to do it because they have already been kind of exposed to it. Versus here on Nevis, we don't have a lot, we have lost a lot of the community festivals. So this is another thing to seek to revive the Gingerama, to revive the St. Thomas's Activity Festival, to revive the Winfest and things like these, so that we have a lot more people who are already exposed to that.
If those in Nevis ain't doing these things, those in Nevis young ladies can also be a part of those same festival in St. Kitts. They can do that because you see those who in St. Kitts who had the experience to come over to Nevis to join the bigger carnival, the bigger part of Culturama. So it's vice versa. If once there are no rules permitting them from not doing the same thing, they can just use that opportunity when singing having the Green Valley and the Black Sand and all in different events. Be a part of, if that's what they're into, just be a part of those functions. You see, if we're not creating it, whoever created it, be a part of it. That's it.
Remember, you're talking about a national festival versus a community festival. So we don't know if the requirements to be a part of those festivals may be different to some extent. All I'm just looking at in terms of that.
You mean the Green Valley stuff? You mean the Green Valley one?
Yeah, like the local communities. We don't know if they're limited to just
the space, the area.
Right. So what I was just looking at the fact that they get opportunities to at least still expose themselves through those festivals, and Nevis as well should really seek to get back to having those things because Banky, another thing, as we talk about the bands and these opportunities, here is another thing that I have been pushing and putting forward and been arguing for a number of years. And that is one of the reasons why in the initial stages of the introduction of the International Night as a part of Culturama, I was very much a part of pushing it and very much involved in the initial stages. My rationale for it was because over the years I would have realized that seemingly there is the mindset and the paradigm that Culturama is just about calypso and soca. And so what you find is a lot of the other creatives and other artists and so on, even though they are a part of our culture, they don't get a chance to showcase so much of their art form during that time. And so these community festivals also can and could work in a way to help to showcase some of these talents, and then they are prepared, people get accustomed to hearing them and so on, so that by the time it gets close to the Culturama, they get a space. Like the sound men.
You see what happened to your son? What happened? We in an environment where when Culturama come, the way they not play no reggae, it's just Culturama and the festive, the cultural music. You hear the string bands and the calypsos.
Yeah,
we in that mindset. We in that mindset. Yeah, but Yason. What I'm trying to, I understand what you're saying, but you got to remember the environment that we live in. They're not promoting reggae. Reggae is something that is not, yes, is not, we listen to it, we play it, but when it comes to Culturama and so forth, reggae is embedded in really in Jamaica. So in Jamaica, the carnival, they don't play, and they don't play the reggae music, but Culturama, they should not change it. We can know it been generation now. It been like 3-4 generation of reggae been singing over the years, built into our culture. So now it's like a fruit. It now become indigenous to us too. So they should open their mind frame and stuff out and see things different. Because when Culturama come to bring in reggae artists for the international artist night, you see, that's what I'm trying to show you.
But this was part of the problem that I had, because here's what I was saying. When you look at a man like let's use the son of the father of Culturama, Ibu Howell, who would have been out there for years before he would have gotten into that accident, creating albums, creating music, representing Nevis and the international space. This man was actually responsible for an entire reggae festival in Calgary, Canada, every year. He and his band would organize this. Now, hear what I'm saying. He's his son.
You got to realize, there's a lot of people out there. So you have these guys from Michigan. You have Rasa Boda. We have a lot of musicians out in the diaspora doing a lot of stuff.
Why are they not getting an opportunity to showcase themselves during Culturama? This is what I'm saying, because it can't just be about soca and calypso. We need to be able to. It's supposed to be a time for everybody to get a chance to make money. All the art forms, all of the artists. Whether you sing rap, whether you sing reggae, whether you sing country and western, whatever, whether you do dub poetry, my thing is there should be a space, and that is why I was saying International Night should have been that space. Me and K, if you bring in an international artist to help boost it, but the idea behind it for me was to be able to give these other artists who are not singing soca and who are not singing calypso, but are also contributing to our culture, an opportunity to showcase their talent. And I think it's time.
Look at this. That you see, you have to look at this way. You might see how long. Remember, when I see that Abernathy retired, I figure, well, he done with everything when it comes to these things. But I realize in Soegoka last year, he was part of the Calypso committee in St. Kitts. Now he's part of the Carnival committee. So you just see, I guess he's just ready to move on from Nevis and go on to bigger things. Because you see, they need his expertise. So my thing is, YAHSON, the way forward, because you see, you might put me on your day, but then you realize the minister still tell you, dictate things to you, and tell you, no, don't do it this way. Madness. We live in an environment where you have a lot of people have ideas. I have ideas, you have ideas, but if you always make things political and differentiate, because this one are we green, this one are we blue. I spoke to some people all week from different views and stuff like that, and I mean, Let me go back to this show. So I went to this show, the Mr. Cool, so to give you a breakdown exactly my observation at this show. Remember, I'm 48 years old, The complex day, fancies me know myself, how it day. The seating at the same. You understand? When you put up a big tent and got people inside there and serve them something that's going to change just up on chair, it's still an tent. What do you want to call them? VIP. We and hard, you till I get wet. Okay? It's about time. You cannot have a show starting, it will start 8 o'clock and you start 8:15, 8:30, whatever. And then they should have gone done with 9 people after 3 o'clock in the morning. Rule number 1, we don't have no age group again. So I took my 14-year-old daughter, 15, to the show. When I go in, they say, okay then, let me see again at in here. You see 8-year-old and 7-year-old and 5-year-old in there. And they should have gone down till after 3 in the morning. I shall not leave my house, go to no show in Nevis if they can't finish by midnight or by 11:15 and I can have vibes here with no children under age. Ain't gonna happen. I ain't doing it. You see what I mean? What my sister want to do it and her auntie and stuff like that. But me now do it. Can it make no sense, my virgin? Why would you have this show going on so late? And then at the same time again, your son, you have next door is the village, in it, and then you're still gonna have a banner DJ down there supposed to play after this show, and you have all these vendors down there pay to hope to make a dollar. How do I make money? You see what I mean? My observation, Because when you left their home, you're going. There are glitches in these shows where you see a group of people just leave around midnight because sometimes the music now play this, that, all kind of different reasons. You don't have no intermission. You see what I mean? Then you must find a professional host. Then big up Chef Nisbet. I mean, she tried her best. So, I mean, you have to give kudos to anyone who got on this stage to try to host these shows, which is past 4 hours. Not just supposed to pass 4 hours, my virgin. 4.5 the most. Make how much people have inside there. You see what I mean? 4.5 the most. Still need the other activities after this show to continue to make money. Where people are going on the beach and do want to go back down next door to the they want now link both places. So who are them they come over, but and then the vendors them up there so in the village can still stay open. They don't force to shut down. We got to move in an era where, and then in the future you move this stage from in the center and push it back more to the wall by the netball complex in a sense. So you have a more central. We have too much architects and skilled people around here to not see these things and money wasted. Virgin, me ain't got time to go out and sit up on hard concrete, and no roof over my head and take wet and all these different me too old for that. And then must link it's supposed to be a way people making money. You don't even need people to be outside and the road with no trade. You encourage everybody to come inside, make it welcoming. So everyone's so inside there. Because what I seen last night in a Virgin, because you see, this is just show your son, and you know the village, the thing set up, right? The cultural complex. All the seat in field.
I've been there for a while, so I don't know. I like to take a visit one time.
Well, nothing changed. The same cultural complex with the same seating and them, and that's it. All I do extend a stage with them metal stage, whatever, and below the to the stage come out, you have more walking space, and the area over the stage is kind of sheltered in a sense, so the contestants wouldn't get wet. But the people sitting down on the same concrete seating, we are gonna get wet. Those in the VIP and in the tent with the nice chair, they're gonna get in the cushion, they're gonna get wet too if a heavy shower come down. Or in the boat vendors, them inside the boat, they're gonna get wet. You understand? Everybody have to go run. My thing is, we gotta come better than this. You know what I'm saying? If you're having a show, yes, you're getting one contestant, and those are shows which will be more the exciting shows, the show that are standing capacity. You can't move, you can't, wherever they have to stay, you can't. So everybody make a dollar. I see vendors inside there and they make a dollar. Lot of them. I'm just not into a place to watch what's going on, to watch the stage. I'm there to analyze how everybody mingle and hear. You understand, maneuver and all these things, and how everything is set how they control people going out and go. That's my observation. Once you're in an environment, you must know the exit and your environment is safe for you to be in. Plus you have your child with you and the kind of energy. Me not going to be last, you know. Me analyze everything. I see people in make $1, and these things is not good. And they should have run down till after 3 and make $1, and they still have vendors down to open up in the village. Well, how do I make $1? And them in there for 6 hours and can make $1. To make money, the crowd in the, you understand, you have to have the place set where people, you understand, will be to spend. And that is not good. You said that is really, really not good. You know what I'm saying? It is not what I see there. You have to have bring in Sugar Bowl and EK and all these guys, professional entertainers who can host a show. To when you don't have land intermission when it comes to when you're changing out the contestant, to keep that crowd in a sense like entertain and not get distracted and get bored and then never fall asleep on these things. You can't be doing stuff like that. And you can't have a host telling the people, well, I know you're accustomed to have these shows that go long. And I make it better. You see what I mean? You just can't say so that it mean you are gonna change and make the show shorter. You can't say these shows are accustomed to go long. You can't do that. That's something bad to say. You are supposed to be improving in these times. So me for one, ain't get back to no show period. Going down to no 3 o'clock. Because it's not about me, it's about the others who have invested in their money to make $1 too. So they sent the complex wall down next to the village, the back wall need to move, my brethren. That wall need to take out, and that readjustment need to be made where it's all inclusive, and you bring those from outside, come inside and be a part of it. So nothing is just like interfere me. Nobody outside. You're bringing everybody inside. That is how you're supposed to set these things. Just like you see the Mango Fest, you have to people from the outside, bring them inside. You got to be all inclusive. So when people out, you're not losing the crowd to go outside to go buy something outside. Bring people inside. We got to change how we're about doing things, include everybody. But by conversating, let me correct myself, bad language. By conversing with some of my friends, you understand, who understand the schematics of these things, it seems like everything is politics. But that is not good. But let me reach out to my good friend, I realized who really controlled certain things. And I realized Keish was there giving a speech and about the contestant and the show. So she did a beautiful job on that. So my big up Keish family down in Halney's Road, my good friend that and my family, they're German at a ton. But they're young, they still have some experience, but at the same time, they can ask and get other people involved. And because when I realized, I see Diane Hapson come, because make sure that the heads of go observe in a central area, because who come in, who leave, and whoever. Me say, well, me thought they to the back and nice up somebody, but I realize, well, they know what the show too. Okay. So me say, well, I know my good friend Makish made shift to the back then. I realize Makish made a VIP. You see what I mean? And these are people who have good skill set when it comes to chaperone and modeling, a lot of different stuff. We just got to do things the right way and job people. Because you see, what made me good at a lot of things is because I listen and take talking from a lot of people. So the person that I am is not just, no, I listen a lot. And when people give me different ideas, I use it and stuff like that. And that will make you a better person. You can't feel like because other people is involved. No, that make a good leader. Because then if you have people to delegate and you can sit back and learn that and so forth, it's better for you and better for everybody. Because they too going to have people going to come support them. You see, they're going to have a crowd, they're going to pull a crowd, and people going to come support. And that is a collective effort, because these are not political parties' situation. These are national projects. So we got to start look at things like this. We got to be better. All shows for culture should be full, standing ovation, my virgin. We got to back to those days. All shows and culture come, suppose you got standing seat in pack. You can't get in. These things are incident, and it shouldn't also should be the same thing, Virgin.
So, but Bankie, this is what I'm saying. Yeah. One of the things I am saying that I am suggesting that could help to return or to get what you are suggesting that we should have again would be the involvement of a lot more of these community festivals, and even in the schools, where you have a lot more of these school pageants and so on, and different things. And I mean, even the schools' involvement in Culturama as well. So we need to have a lot more of these community festivals that give opportunities for the youth to get involved in some of these things where they are, able now to face the public and, get out of that shy mentality and so on. And then you would have more people who, as they grow older and as they practice it more, would be more ready to be involved and open to, facing the stage and a bigger crowd and so on and things like that. So that is what I would think would help to get us back to getting the kind of interest that is necessary and the involvement of more parents, because if you get more children involved, you automatically will get more parents involved, because the parents are going to have to come out to support, and then you're going to have the cousins and the niece and the aunties. And so this is how it works. As you say, it's a collective effort. And if these things are given the interest, then it augurs well for a better cultural experience at the end of the year, because that would be the culminating event of a lot of these, whether it's Winfest, it's St. Thomas's, the Ginger Ram, and then you seek to get one in every parish. You seek to get a St. Paul's, you seek to get a St. John's function as well. And these are things that these are my suggestions, as you brought that point up.
No, but I mean, these are, it just have to be, YAHSONN, this is our festive season, eh? So what, you have to have proper host. Let me say again, kudos and give Chevron and Nisbet, you know what I mean? You got to tip her hat to her. I mean, she tried, she did it, but that is not really her presence when it comes to hosting those kind of shows. You understand? Because you got to be funny, you got to know to keep the crowd going and all the different stuff. And it's not easy dealing with an audience in St. Kitts and Nevis. They are tough. You go to a show, people would make mistake. People would, I mean, all that is a part of this show. You don't want, you understand, you'll get a little giggle here and whatever. But that's not going to break you. You see what I mean? All those are experiences you're going to go through and stuff like that. So, got to bring in people. Nothing wrong in paying somebody from St. Kitts, somebody who here can host a show properly. You just can't just, whatever, pick a manager in a work like that. Them thing them in a fan. Keep things professional and do things because you have a standard, you're dealing with standards. And I realize we are putting people within the system to host a lot of shows. The Mango Festival, same thing. Get a host, bring in EK, you understand, bring in real entertainers, professional hosts to do these things. Because these people are going to pull other people. You don't always want to have a minister hold a mic, a director up on a stage or whatever, I host the show. I mean, what do you mean? You can't spend it. But you will spend thousands and thousands of dollars of bringing people from all over the place. Get one of these guys who have the talent, who know could be funny. You know what I'm saying? These are things other people want to sit. About me, I'm just speaking as a promoter, I one who have experience in these things and love to see things done on a professional level, because you gotta let people move and leave with a lasting impression, because you don't know who is within the audience and who is looking at how things have been done and stuff like that. Tonight, going on now is the talented youth and so forth. It started 7:15. Let me see how long the show you're going. My youth gone with her auntie. Let me see if this show not finish by 11:30. At 11 o'clock, I going past 12 o'clock. That, well, me youth now going away again. You see? But I wanted to go. You understand? But these things got YAHSONN. Because of this, because I see Anguilla just had a show on the Queen show. It done 11:45. Okay? And it start 8 o'clock. We must, and then the next thing you need to add it to the show on them. You still have 2 big screen. Ain't no reason to hide the scores after each section and you don't score it digital. You go up on the score like you go when you watch Sports Day. You know the scores are contest number 1 have this score, so the contest why okay by me then number 4 me can really slip up it make it more competitive. And these things should not be no secret, so the audience can see the scores and stuff too. Nothing is wrong with these things, my virgin. A lot of things you just have to think things different, do things different, and stop hide up things. Show the scores and the screen the same way. We got to figure it out, and we just can't. This definitely can't continue, because it just gonna fall more and more and more off. And then when the 5 more years, then you just want to have a grand event and spend a whole heap of money. No, it should be balanced. And right now, it's definitely ain't balanced at all. because too much issues, way too much issues. But next topic, Yasan.
Well, as you were talking about hiring professionals and bringing in professionals, I was thinking, especially where Nevis is concerned, the argument is going to be that there is no money. Even though you say they spend money and all kind of things, the argument is no money. And
Women the money we're talking about. Yes, women the money
well,
there.
well,
Women the money there.
remember, there is no money, and we are dependent to some
Yasan.
extent on that
Rashid.
olive
Both
branch
of
that
us.
is being handed over by the federal government in terms of what is supposed to be our share of the CBI, and you know that there's the argument out there for the fair share, and so I think this would be a good way to segue into that topic, so to speak, because that seems to be one of the topics that is on the agenda right now, the topic of fair share for Nevis, and I would have gotten the opportunity to listen to a bit of the former Premier of Nevis on Patch's program last night, where he sort of went into detail from his perspective in relation to the fair share arguments. It's good, really to hear from some of these former politicians because they're able to talk to a time in history that even though we maybe were alive at the time, we were pretty young, and in terms of our level of understanding of things at that time, it's good to really hear from their perspective. However, um, I have some serious, questions as I analyze what is happening with this fair share issue, Banky, and for me, initially, I would have understood and I would have questioned that position to the point where I did get a response for that question, which was in the argument presented for fair share, that the argument was kind of disingenuous in the sense that it's like somebody using a popular phrase to highlight a significant or specific, sorry, not a significant, a specific aspect of the entire statement, because it was only the fair share of the CBI that was argued for. So when one coined the phrase fair share, it evoked an emotion that takes us back to a time in history where, especially like just after independence or just before independence and so on, where when we were, I think it's Nevis Anguilla, so to speak, even before Anguilla broke away, where, Sinkis was like the mother of the three, and we were given hand-downs and, the old, when a new school bus come for Sinkis, then we get the old one in Nevis and things like that and so on. So those kind of emotions were evoked when the argument for fair share comes up, and they know that that is an argument that pushed for the use of the clause 113 in terms of secession sometime in the past, and so it was used emotionally. But when questioned, it was highlighted, and it was realized that it was only the CBI shares that were in the discussion, because the individual and the party that that individual supports, who was pushing the fair share argument, would have been the party that is responsible for the disruption of the fair share as it is or should be constitutionally, because it was under that party that the taxable sharing arrangement that is constitutional was stopped, where they decided that they will hold their taxes in Nevis, and whatever taxes is made on St. Kitts hold it and do what they want to do. And then following that, then they would have had the VAT arrangement, and a similar thing was done in relation to the VAT, where there is supposed to be a sharing arrangement and a prescribed sharing arrangement, and then that was stopped. They just opted to stop that. And then this is the same party now that is coming back and arguing about fair share. So one of the challenges, and I'm going through this because I am seeking to put into perspective where we are and why maybe the decisions that, even though we are not aware of what is in the document, but I feel that this was some of the things that the Prime Minister had to take into consideration, why also he would have opted to not want to locally involve himself, but to get an international agency to look at the issue. So you have those two issues. And then you have the non-taxable funds, which is accounted for by the Citizenship by Investment Program. That is the share and the fair share that was being argued for by the Premier for the 2015 election, I think it was, where the campaign began. And that is what was being argued for, the fair share of the CBI. Now, here is it, the Prime Minister finds himself in a position where, okay, now this argument was made so much under a party that the CCM government was, well, not a party, but a government that they were involved in and a part of. At this point, they find themselves in the opposition. 7 years ago, when they started this campaign about fair share, they were in the government and they had significant clout in the government if they really needed to do something. However, from historical accounts and from the words of the former Prime Minister then, there is no evidence that anything was documented in the House or brought to the House or brought to Parliament in relation to asking for this fair share. Now, put that aside. The Prime Minister now finds himself in a position where he had to address this issue. He brought in the World Bank to look at the issue. And from my perspective, what I am thinking is happening is that the Prime Minister recognized that he can't just look at the fair share of the citizenship by investment, which is non-taxable, and then ignore that disrespect, that blatant disrespect that has been taking place all along, where here is it that you have something that is constitutional and you are opting to break the Constitution because you feel that you shouldn't do this. Then what is there to guarantee that when we come to this agreement as well, which is not constitutional, that you will not also choose to not abide by it and choose to do something else? So in order for me to fix this, we have to holistically look at all of them. And so I think this is just my personal view and my personal intuition, so to speak, that, because remember, none of us have seen the document, that is part of what was presented. That we can't just look at this thing from the CBI, we have to look at the taxable and we have to look at the VAT, and we have to consider all of that and come with a figure and something that is workable, that we think should be workable. Now, my argument, here is it that this is something that you campaign on vehemently and push for years. And you also said that, man, you need a World Bank to come and do this thing. Even a 6 farmer can work out this maths here. And then you would have gotten the document, from March. And you have March, April,
YAHSONN, we have a call coming
July.
in.
Yes, we can take the call.
YAHSONN, let me take the call.
Yeah, take the call.
Carlo, good evening. Welcome to everything. Welcome to the topics.
Yeah, man. Good evening to you guys, man.
Yes. Good evening.
Yes. I waited for the fair share topic to come up to interject, and as part of my discussion, the discussions you guys are having tonight. Yeah, YAHSONN was just touching on that fair share, right?
Yes.
Okay, so my contribution towards that is, as we listen to the former premier on Patch's show Monday night, he has indicated that, the terminology now is spin off into fair share, but, back in his time, I guess they maybe coined it revenue sharing. And as YAHSONN says, just a few minutes ago, we are looking at the taxable and the non-taxable revenue. All of the revenue has to come into play. Okay, the premier of the day, I'm seeing and hearing, and I've seen him, I've heard him push for the fair share since 2015, when they went into that arrangement with the Team Unity Construct, and they had that signing in Charleston, the Charleston Accord. Out of that, Nevis should have been getting what they bargained for in that Charleston Accord, whether that was a verbal or written arrangement. So now, 2015, we go through the Team Unity reign up until 2022. They fall apart, and it appears like they might have fallen apart over fair share. I mean, I don't have all the answers. The egos might have come into play as well. But
but Carla, you can't say they followed over fair share when the Prime Minister himself said there was nothing brought to cabinet or any discuss about fair share or anything like that. You see what I mean? If there was any issues about fair share, then the Premier of Navy will come to the people of Navy and say, well, this is situation happening. I mean, you can't. So I wouldn't say there was fired over fair share because nothing was ever brought to the people in Parliament, any discussion about fair share, anything like that. I'm not in there. So I'm not in the assumption of assuming it. You see, I don't. My brain don't function like that. Show me the evidence. So I only can speak on evidence that I know.
That's why I referenced the Charleston Accord.
Yeah, but if I'm saying, but if you don't get the money that you ask for, that is on paper, you come out and talk. You see what I mean? Because an agreement is, if you have it as an agreement and it's binding, if it's not binding, I mean, this is not like if I write your check and a toilet paper and tell you go and cash it with my signature, the bank, and I have money in the bank should take it. Or they could call me, they should take it. That's how it is. But with these guys come together as politicians and write up a piece of paper in a law firm and then got a grand ceremony in front of the general public, and then come back and say, well, it's a group between big people. Well, okay, all right.
Well, if that was a binding agreement, I guess that's the question maybe you might be pushing out.
Well, that's the whole point. What is legal? Is it legal?
I'm referencing the accord.
Is these things legal? But what I'm saying, but are these things legal? What was that thing that they come up with? Is this legal within the people of? Because the people are the government, not politicians coming together and hoodwinking us. And because I don't want to be talking about something that is not legal. Because this person can come back and say, well, it's constitutional, so we can't. So why would they go and agree to something where they know it's not binding or it's not legal? Which means they're canning us. If I say a can is a can in my virgin, a can is a can. If politician can us and do and these things is wrong, it means it's a crime. Because it's not binding and going to come back and say, well, it's big people. If me say my signature and we agree to this, we're supposed to stick to the agreement. A man have a way to change your mind if you're not in the law. You see? That's the whole point. That's what they're gonna do. That's what they're gonna say. They're gonna supposed to, as grown folks, I'm not doing anything illegal. That's what they're gonna stand by. They're gonna always stand by these things. So these things are just tricks and cunning ways that I don't stand for. I mean, I entertain a lot of these things about, because they went and sing a whole song about this thing, my virgin, a whole song they wrote about fair share, which in they know the Constitution states something. Everybody's big people speak and say to the public what you call fair share, what you're looking for. Now, be in a cabinet and make the secrets deal. Come out and speak publicly. That's how you make people be a part of these things. You see what I mean? This traditional way about going about doing things, me not love it, me not entertain it. And these are madness. Because I not make everybody feel like me a part of this set who don't think for themselves
and foolish. You see, there's a problem we have. If something don't make no sense, we're supposed to question it and hold our people responsible. Me not gonna make a lot of things, a lot of talking topics, and just repeating myself like I'm regurgitating this stuff and no accountability. I need accountability from. So you hear Timothy say that was not binding because it is not constitutionally. These are just writing up things on paper with a few politicians exciting the people.
It's up to the people if the people want to let them calm down and keep calming them all this time.
Well, that is the whole point.
Just as you mentioned, Timothy say it was not binding. But guess what? Our premier, saying that he's a lawyer, and say he's a top scholar. He was one of the grafters of that Charleston Accord.
Yeah, but Lindsay going to liar too. Lindsay a liar, General a liar. Up pure liars are pure liars. Do up these things, Virgin. When we talk, these people have over 200 years. These people got watch it. These people.
If they enter into an agreement and the agreement is not binding, that's a BS.
Well, that's the whole point. From the get going to do them, it's games, it's emotions they're playing on.
So Bankie,
what's your big yes. Hey.
So we forward to right now. We see the premier. He had his press conference recently. And
hold on there a sec.
Hold on. No, let him go ahead because I don't think he'll be able to hear me. So I'll let him finish and then I'll say what I'm saying. I need him to hear me then. Yeah.
All right. Finish up, Carla.
Okay, so the premier says sixth former or a student from the Fitzgerald Bryant College can hammer out this spatial, equation and come to some type of, applicable arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
Then now we see the premier now complaining that he wasn't consulted, and he's complaining that the local figures from Nevis wasn't included. So somewhere along the line now, he's not satisfied with what he's seeing. And he's the one that brought up this fair share. He's pushing this fair share, but he's not making sure everything is inclusive from the Nevis side so his people can be satisfied for his job in terms of the premier and making sure that fair share equation and arrangement is worked out to the advantage of Nevis. So I don't see where he's complaining now. If a student from Fitzgerald College and the sixth form can work this out, he as a premier should be able to work it out too. And it's just a con all around the board, bro. They're taking the people for a ride. And me, as the prime minister right now, I would have released that document to the public. I don't care what the premier himself thinks. Irrespective of what the premier thinks, a strong leader would have released that document. And I don't see why they got that document hiding it underneath their bed and behind their outhouse. And that's my contribution for the night. And on the Nevis end, I wish you the best, Bankie, going forward. And we are calling for the removal of the premier and his cabinet, his party. We need new managers of our money in the Nevis side of things. And that's my contribution for the night. Thanks.
All right, respect. Give thanks for calling. YAHSONN.
Yes,
sir. Yeah, it's something, eh? You see, we got to realize and stop. I grew up in a house where you hear politics morning, noon, and night. I go into different households, you hear different sides talking politics. And if it's one thing, you go tell us you drives here. All of them are the same thing. These guys ain't enemies, my brethren. These guys, all of them, all the errors, all of them are classmates. Vance and Powell, my classmate. Hector and Mark and all of my friend. All these people who are all of my friend, brethren. These men play a game. These people canning is just different families and different people around in a circle and around in an alliance. There are people I know going to bar water with the tears. If this party and power not going to work, the business is going to shut down. This is how it is. They're canning the people. That's all it is, my brethren. So with all those who was jumping up behind a song, Fair Share, where they gone? Which part they day? What board they pan? Where this the day? Where they the day? All them in a position. Every one of them. You
you
see,
see,
all don't let them
Banky,
gonna swim in the trough.
Banky,
You
here is
see,
the
you see what I
thing,
mean?
right?
All must swim up in the mud. All right.
Here is the thing, Banky. As I was listening to the caller and I was listening to your response to the caller as well, and I opted to jump in after because I know that when the caller is on the phone and I am speaking, he's not able to hear me. So I am going to
Yes.
make my comment now after he's gone, right? And also, this is something that really needs to clear up. And I think you cleared up that part a little bit when you spoke to how the Charleston Accord was put together and it was just like a handshake. And people need to understand that that is the difference with the so to speak, non-taxable and the taxable um, aspects that is constitutional. And herein lies
Yes.
part of the problem that we are faced with. When the Premier argued for fair share, using the argument of fair share, in reality, the Premier was only specific to the fair share that is expected or that he's expecting out of the CBI and out of that same Charleston Accord agreement that they would have created. That is what he was arguing for, a fair share out of the CBI. Work out something that we could get with fair share out of the CBI. But at the same time, this same government that this premier manages is the government that have disrespected the constitutional sharing agreements, which is what should be the VAT sharing arrangement constitutionally and what should be the taxable sharing arrangement between St. Kitts and Nevis because that is constitutional. So here is the dilemma. That is why I'm saying the Prime Minister finds himself in
Yeah,
that
yeah, but
situation.
but
How
every
could I
time,
fix
but
this?
every
How
time
could
you
I
say that,
argue? Oh, wait, Banky. How could I sort out just the CBI and ignore these people breaking the law because they've been breaking the law? To me, this should have been addressed a long time ago
oh,
because there's
who
no
breaking the law?
Nevis.
Okay,
What?
so
You
when
know,
you
I'm
say
saying that
you say it's a what? You say it's a what?
it's constitutional
Constitution.
taxable sharing
So who?
arrangement.
So who's supposed
Constitutional
to share?
taxable
Who's supposed
sharing
to share?
arrangement. What is supposed to happen is based on what is in the
So
Constitution.
who? Yes, yes,
But
son.
hold
So
on.
I'm saying
Here's what's supposed to
it's a
happen.
federal. There's a federal government,
Yes,
right?
yes. And so
So the
what is
federal
supposed to
government
happen? What
supposed,
the
and there's
argument?
attorney general, right? So the,
Go ahead.
what I'm saying, because when you say them a break the law, Nevis a break the law. There's an attorney general, there's a federal government, and if there's any of your shares that the constitutional speak about why the federal government, who is allowing Nevis to break the law? Well, them not break the law too. Well, I don't break the law, yes, son. That's my point. They're allowing it to happen when they know somebody gonna fall short by not following this. So nobody uphold the constitution then. So everybody see
Well,
everybody do wrong and encourage wrong. Just like how they infringe on my rights for the use of herb. You see what I mean? Infringing on my rights, you know. But they not infringe
let
on
me
those
see.
politicians'
I was
rights
going to,
when them have been out of break the law. But what the difference be?
well, I was going to use that analogy, because I was going to say in my explanation of the same taxable and non-taxable, it is similar to what is being done in relation to cannabis, where there are three aspects of cannabis, right? And in terms of what we are dealing with in terms of the taxable and non-taxable,
Yes.
there are three aspects too, because there's the VAT sharing arrangement, and then there are the other taxable sharing arrangements, which have been ignored by Nevis. And they're arguing now for fair share of the non-taxable. That is the argument that is being made now. So here is it. What is legal and what you should legally do? You choose to break the law. And then you want to argue now for what is not legally and constitutionally due. So that is where the problem lies. And then here is it. Sankofa took the government, they signed at the government, but took the commissioner of police to court for cannabis for personal and spiritual or religious uses. Those are the grounds that he took the government to court on. Those are the grounds that he won his case on. However, when the government did the commission of inquiry, and CARICOM did the commission of inquiry in relation to the views and opinions of the people in the Caribbean in relation to decriminalizing or legalizing cannabis, they agreed on 3 grounds as well. And the 3 grounds were medical cannabis, recreational or personal use, and religious or spiritual use. The government have opted to go full speed ahead with medical cannabis and have totally ignored the 2 areas that are pertinent to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and to the case that Sankofa took them to court for. And up to now, as we are talking constitutional, because it's constitutional that they're paid, these ministers are paid to fix this issue. And we are not getting any representation. And it's happening in Nevis and it's happening on St. Kitts. We are on the ecclesiastic side of things. We have not heard anything in relation to getting your license for the 56 grams, getting your license for the 5 trees, and you're getting your lounges together and so on. And it's the same way in the argument for fair share. The argument was only about the CBI, and the taxable and the VAT sharing was just left on the back burner, and nobody was really talking about it. And that is why I'm saying I think that is where the challenge is now. When the Prime Minister would have gotten the World Bank involved in the discussion, all of those things were looked at, and I'm sure now they may not be happy with what the end result is, that for this to happen, but this is what is going to have to happen.
But how you know that they will look at? How you know that?
I said, I did say that is my intuition. I'm not saying that it has been looked at. I have not seen the document. So that is why I've been saying all along, it is my intuition. I feel that is what has happened.
Or you feel?
My thing is, yes, as your argument is, they should have released the document. But we also have to look at BANKIE, the fact that the Prime Minister is the Prime Minister of the federal government. However, there's a Nevis Island government that the Prime Minister still have to respect. And though the Premier is the opposition minister in the House at this point, he still holds his seat as the Premier. And so there's a level of diplomacy that has to be met and has to be dealt with. So in relation to giving him the document, he have to give him the document formally and let him look at it. And he have to give him the time. So if he says he hasn't finished with it yet, from a diplomatic standpoint, the Prime Minister have to, give him the time before he comes to the public and say, put it out. So, I mean...
Yes, sir. Because... With all them degrees of economists and all this, so you know about money. Yes, and what you need what to get through this.
Even though Six Farmer could have done it, he still have it for 4 months now.
Next topic. So next topic. No.
So
next topic.
That's where you choose. You bring a topic now.
I want the premier and his deputy and those who listen to my voice when they see the premier and his deputy, Mr. Eric Evelyn, asked and the tourism department, the PS and whoever is in charge and the authority, what's going up at Hamilton Estate and the sugar mill, and what's Vanilla Cafe is up there building and all this stuff and all these stores, the advertising, gun charging the locals and 20 US, 20 EC and the finals 20 US and all these things. Of our place, why have this happened? So he said the money they need us, they're giving away our one of Livisium with all the boilers and all the machineries inside to show how this thing used to work for hundreds of years. You're going to let people come from, the word Wazunga mean foreigner, the white man, for those who are listening. The word Abroni mean the same thing. You understand? In the Akan language. The Wazunga is in the Ashanti. You understand? Swahili. It mean the foreigner, the white man. Abroni, same thing. But it may also mean they have the heart of a 2-year-old. All they do is take and take and take and take. The island is too good for us, my brethren. I know that. They just being their true nature. just to come and study us and seek out
Banky,
those who love to give information upon
Banky,
each other. I come
me
there.
and
I
you,
come. Yes.
me and you, ANC from the same paradigm where this story here sits. I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna say this, right?
Yes, son.
Because
Let me finish up. Let me finish up.
okay, you finish.
All right. Yeah. I'm gonna take a book, right? By Amos Wilson. All right. All right. Give me a chance there, people. All right. Okay. You see.
Next sir.
Let me come
No,
here.
next side. Yeah, okay. Yeah, black, okay. Yeah, Black
Okay.
Power. Amos Wilson. Okay, yeah.
It's the blueprint for Black Power. Okay. It's a moral, political, and economic imperative for the 21st century. Amos N. Wilson. Okay. Every household need one of this. You see me? Because it's important that your land is your independence. Huh? You can't live up in the air, and you're showing any space, and you're showing in this water to live. You see, you're not getting out there. Your land are your independence. Who want hold on for money, eat the money, you know. Because soon you're not got money in your hand. It's gonna be digital. Okay, you're gonna start to be digital. You cannot have people come here and over certain things, my virgin. Because all of us gonna look like idiots at the end of the day. Because when these people started to tell, oh, the Europeans came here and had the Africans them working here and enslaving them, so you're looking at somebody who ancestors enslave you, and you pay them for them to tell you a narrative in how they want to put it over. And our people making money, whether doing paperwork as lawyers and this and that and whatever, and selling a property. I tell you, this is an alliance thing going on, you know. Yes, son. I died 250,000 years ago, and you can add the next 250 million. Me can't die. That energy can't die. My children is a representation of me. That's what our ancestors call God. You understand? I have repeated myself many times, and all females. So my genes gonna always live on. Cause man not give children. You see, and the ancient way is the woman give the man the authority to govern and to rule, but them are the matriarch. That's the reality. You understand? So those who want to be a part of some boys club and for the love of money, don't give away everything and do anything because of love of money. Virgin, me ain't one gonna sit around and when you see people going around and picking up paper and acting like they love the island more than you and putting up signs, keep the island clean. I want to see where they put up where the country they come from. You see, 6 acres they don't give these people, the agriculture department give these people Hamilton Mountain. And now they're giving away the Hamilton sugar mill. And their Carinos, they're next to them with people living inside there. I ain't hear nobody only me you talk about this, you know. You ain't hear no other radio station. Talk about everything on the radio station every political evening and afternoon and morning. And nobody care what's going on about the Hamilton mill except those who reach out to me and upset about these things. And the premier and his cabinet, Spencer Brown, all them inside the legal advisor, all of them see this, the whole region, everybody involved in this thing here. Nobody escape this one here because I know the detriment going to happen down the road if these people who is not from here need to give back up whatever money is been spent and say we have made up a blunder and see you all sacred lands here and we are out of order and they shouldn't even leave the island because these things should not be happening. How our people, the new enslavers are our own people, eh? The new enslavers is our own people. Right in front of your face. This is a carnival culture going on, you know. And if Friday coming, going to be emancipation August 1st. And who the premier going to make a speech, get to the museum and talk about the sacrifice we ancestors used to plant up in Hamilton Mountain and Joan of the Christina and all these things. And people going to go let them reef, making a mockery, the whole cabinet. When the Hamilton sugar mill up there, so we see ancestors them. You understand? Built You turn it over to the same colonizer? Well, what a people. what I said about us? Because me a part of the us, you know. Me youth them is a part of the us, you know, my virgin. My youth them would never go to the place there with no spoil trip, nothing, you know, as long as these people are managing the place there, you know. I ain't accepting these things, my virgin. That is not in my genetics. My ancestors go through too much and still going through too much. We see Christopher Harbour and getting our millions and millions from our money and we're not benefiting. You see? I hear local people who want to build hotels, go on radio stations, Glenbarrow, DuPont, and National Bank run them. And National Bank give away money like a nothing, like a water. And a young man just come on there like New Wave, who was just interviewed. Can't walk in there and say, but we have a band and this is our music and we'd like to get $2 million, but we not got no money and these are our plans and see our business plan here. Then I get them, don't laugh after them. You see? We just want to jump up and march and think when politicians tell us to march, our preacher tells us to march, we jump up and trust stone for that. Nobody will lead me, you know. Nobody will lead me. Me could think for myself. And my children could think for themselves. So all this nonsense are going on. I don't see party. I don't see colors, my virgin. I see my people all the time. All I see is my people. I smile and laugh and get along with everyone. I don't see this blue and yellow and green nonsense. We got to get out of that mind frame. You see, because and then, so how are you going to give all these things? And then you still go down to Indian Castle, not because the CARICOM have moved something to 2030. The goalposts shift a little bit, so you don't know, mash up things and then try to fix it back. Food is needed every day. It's our own survival. It's our fuel. It's our diesel. It's our gas to bring the car. It's all in our body. Without that, we don't exist. So how can I take these people serious when it comes to giving away the sugar mill, destroying 40 acres of food? I mean, you down there trying to cut the grass. Cutting the grass don't mean nothing because ain't no water down there. So what the purpose? Workers just going down there when they don't kill off all the food, most of the fruit trees and stuff like that and pull up 3 acres and acres of bananas and zip lines that they gotta buy back. This thing don't make no sense. It's just failing. You can't play with food and can't play with my heritage. Those two things that go together. Without that, we don't exist. So anybody who violate them two things there, food and the heritage of your ancestors, nah, worthy to be leading me, my virgin. So the whole cabinet have to go. Yeah, the whole cabinet have to go. And those who silent about these things that seeing that are going up in Hamilton, them is not the kind of investment. Those are for our natives to control and for our otherwise our conservation society or the tourism department take control of these things.
Here's why I was saying that I differ with you, because
yes,
I think that we are some of the worst employers, we the masses, because we the masses, until we realize that we are the employers and we hire these people and demand accountability and demand consultation on a regular basis, yes, and change the status where they feel like they don't have to, explain anything to us, and we have to be fighting to get information, because herein lies the issue. As much as you may be very eloquent and passionate about your stance and how you feel about what is taking place, in reality, we don't know what arrangements have been made with these people. And these people, as much as you're saying, these people come with the intent to take and take. These people are not necessarily taking. These people probably propose whatever plan and maybe whatever negotiation. We don't know if part of the negotiation is to put a little campaign fund into, some campaign body, pockets. We don't know. We really don't know.
I don't care either. I don't want to figure it out. I don't care. Can it supposed to happen? Our leaders are supposed to give our stuff, so I ain't trying to figure it out. Here's the problem, wrong by them accepting to an agreement right there.
Hear what you say. You say you don't care. But here the reality of the scenario. The reality is because of this no-care attitude to some extent that the politicians realize, well, the people don't care. They don't hold us accountable. So we could do these things and we don't have to be accountable. We could continue playing the game and say...
No, they have to be accountable because they can't have an agreement to give away your half. So that's where you excuse your make-up card. Rule number 1, you don't violate and break the law. That's it. You can't do that. There ain't nothing good in that, virgin. There ain't no excuses for these things.
Herein lies the conundrum that we don't find ourselves in. We hire these politicians to be very creative and diversify the economy and find ways of generating revenue so that we could be living comfortable. As a result of them not being able to do that, their best scheme that they came up with was a CBI scheme that involves selling out what you claim is the most important asset apart from our human resources, which is our lands. And here is it that they have been doing that and using that not just as a means of generating revenue, but as one of the most significant. At the point, it accounted for 60% or more than 60% of the revenue that the government was using to keep themselves going. Here's the problem I have with that. You just mentioned as well that another one of the most important areas is food. How come since they went and they used this avenue that was to sell out our land, we never had any huge outroar against this, that we can't let the government get away with this lazy cheat code and try to sell out our land instead of really diversifying the economy? Have you heard anybody argue that by 1 billion out of that should have put into an agricultural fund to make sure that we could meet the 25 by 25 agenda and sustain ourselves and be like Guyana, we don't have to import food and so on? No, we don't hear the argument in a way. So it shows
we're speaking about it. We're speaking about it.
Well, apart from me and you, here's what I'm saying.
Other people tell them too.
I am saying that
come out public, but people are speaking about it. Other people are really speaking about it.
Not being accountable to us, and for us not to demand these level of accountability and get them to do their work that they couldn't get away with just coming up with this scheme, bringing in some money and do whatever they want with the money, and then we're scrabbling now that the industry is being dismantled, or not necessarily dismantled, but slowed down because of things that they were not doing right, because they were just focused on making the little money. And I use that example because it's sometimes the same little schemes that I use in negotiating some of these projects that you claim that these people come to take, but it's how they negotiate, and without us being a part of the negotiation.
You can't, YAHSONN, may I say water, you know? YAHSONN, what you're saying ain't holding water with no negotiation skill, because this should not be a part of no condition when it comes to giving away certain, when it comes to your land, especially these sugar mills.
If you're not gonna say, if you're the boss and you're not gonna say in what the employee negotiate,
these right, let me show you.
But if you not hold me accountable, if me work with you, me supposed to work with you, and you not hold me accountable, me could just go and make whatever deal. And even me don't make it, me must tell you about the deal. And if you keep asking and asking, I still not must tell you nothing. Only if maybe somebody leak, some whistleblower, you may find out something. And you allow it. You and your rest followers allow me to continue to function like that. If that is what's happening, so then why should I change that if I could get to with it all the time? And you now make the legislation penny. When I'm ready for the
weeks and months, I've been conversing with weeks and months and daily. I've been running to different people. Up to today, someone telling me about Indian Castle and how poorly done there is, and this and that. And then also tell them, speak to the Premier and his cabinet, or the Minister of Agriculture, and the manager, Steve Reed, who is in charge of down there. You understand? And the masses who speak to me and attack me about these things is people who support the government, you know? People who support and love these people, and they feel bad about this thing, and they're not going to hold these people accountable. These things are craziness. You understand? You come to me, and it's your friend and the people who you support messing up your you understand, your investment, and you come to me, go to them and speak out on these things. You come into my farm where my farm is in mint condition, and everything is blooming, and me planting and this and that and that something. And you tell me about a situation that belongs to the taxpayers, and the Premier is there along with his deputy and all the representative in the cabinet and you not tell them not to see them every day? I went to St. Kitts and I went into a farmer. Me say, well, wait, you not tell, so you ask me, well, I'm about Indian Castle. Well, me ask, well, you not ask Zook the same thing? Well, Zook not talk. You understand? Because these are the supporters of the government and all they barely hurt them, they warm it and they not tell them. They might ask me. Ask them, what you ask me for?
So,
Ask them.
just,
Me don't do my part, you know.
just you agreeing with my point that I made a while ago. I told you that we are some of the worst employers because that's not how an employer function. If you hire somebody to work for you and they're doing stupidness, what you feel to call them out? Because at the end of the day, this is why sometimes Bankie, I wonder why these people will come to you for real. Because what is it? You're gonna cost and you say support them and you're gonna tell Bankie to do what you're supposed to do at the polls. Vote them out. Come and say whatever way man still vote for them. We're saying nothing because that's where your word really count. If you really believe in what you're telling Bankie, show Bankie the meaning that they never come vote for Bankie or vote for somebody else outside of who is doing what you're complaining about. If you ain't doing that, then you ain't telling me nothing. And that's what I'm saying in terms of accountability. The government also realizes that the government, those who we elect us, who are our employees, realize that flip the elected and
Yes,
turn
son.
into
What I want,
employees and they function as employers and get away with it.
what I want to know, what I want to see what's going to happen with human resources and within the government system, the manager, the minister of agriculture, all the deputies and all them within the part of the government. When it's time for them to continue to get bonuses and all this thing, and the manager and them, because the premier say they're supposed to start get increment again in July. If human resources give these increments and don't ask for removal of these managers, all them will be a part of this thing in the car. How the whole government system, the whole system, everybody in each department in agriculture feel bad about Indian Castle. And have lost all the respect for the manager and the minister himself. That's why I'm asking for the removal of the minister and the whole cabinet. Because all of them benefited off of Indian Castle. That's the reality. They me have all the pictures, they have all the blogging. And next thing I'm gonna say, Michael Lynn, I'm encouraging him to go back to Indian Castle visit. Because when he came there, when I started that project, we all walk around the whole 40 acres. I know what he said to the minister, Alexis Jeffers at the time. He is disappointed of the Eco Park and how it has been left, abandoned from when it was handed over. He said, I see what's going on here. I see it as a baby stage, and I know it will flourish. You see what I mean? Because they come and they see how everything was laid out and the design from the same to the time was everything. And he know by reasoning with me, he'd understand it. And just what he say, it gonna flourish. But look what happened. So what think he gonna be happy about how we did? Because he was supposed to fund them some money to invest in Indian Castle. And he told them to show me the total what you have spent and I'll give you this money. So I want him to, and this to encourage him, and I would encourage them to visit down there. You see, I would encourage the Taiwanese mission to visit Indian Castle.
Again?
Huh?
What's his name? The name you mentioned?
Michael Lin, he's the ambassador to here from Taiwan. Michael Lin, Ambassador Michael Lin. If you Google Google Ambassador Michael Lin, and you'll see me and the ambassador and the Zook and the whole cabinet. It all these things is on the internet. You see what I mean? It's right there. You can Google it and you'll find it. They visit the Indian Castle, Ambassador Michael Lin, and you'll see a whole write up about it right there. So that's why you see Zook can't talk. You see? The minister ain't come back and apologize to the general public for lying at the state of Indian Castle where no food have come out of down there for the last 2 years, for the last 2 open day. Not, let me say 2 years, a year and a half, a year and 7 months. The last, this December going to make 2 years since I've left. And 2 open day have passed. No food, not even one OBS. And everybody knows scallion look like her. Not even that. For the agriculture open day. And that minister sit in Hanley's Road in a meeting, you know. Hanley's Road, it's whole community, you know. The heart of Hanley's Road. And lie to the people and neighbors listen to his voice. People go down there fancies they been on the island and come back and say how bad down there been disappointing. So who the minister think he gonna fool? This way pay people for your son, and this are then you tell me 2025, got to 2030. You still not help farmers? Farmers still not get help, my virgin. And you expand the time, which means you're supposed to really put in the drives. There are over 200 rolls of wire up at land and housing sitting down. Sitting down. Give them to farmers. Monkey fence, monkey kill farmers. Monkey solar panel and the wire them there to set up a unit. Around one unit can occupy 40 acres. Those 12-volt units, one unit can operate up to 30 to 40 acres of land. You see what I mean? They not help nobody. World Food, they're going to come up because school, so next event is World Food Day. And we're in a fall. Farmers, give farmers water to help farmers. Farmers not going to help. You see, the minister, them not see, them not serious about agriculture. You understand? The man is serious when they're destroying food. You see? So, it going to show us the extension, young staff, them they come on my farm. I mean, they're supposed to come back on my farm this week to do some aerial drone shots of the farm and stuff like that. So by Friday they'll come and do some aerial shots and stuff because they love the farm looking and all the vibes. So, which is fine. The young guys, them doing the most what they can, but at the same time they have a chief extension officer who is failing them, ain't doing no work. You understand? Mash up 40 acres. So how he can go? And then you have a young lady there, you have an acting as a chief, the real chief ain't doing no work. Everybody in agriculture is frustrated, especially the young extension team, because no respect is left for the one who leading the pack, because he failed. So if you fail, how you gonna tell me not do my work? How you gonna come tell me as a young person in extension that me not when you are the head and you fail? The evidence is that you mash up 40 acres of food. What you gonna come and tell me? What you gonna say? ask the manager, ask the one at the farm. Are you in charge? You only answer to the minister. Can you don't tell the director and the deputy? You don't answer to them. You answer to the minister only. So who we gonna do the blame to? Randy don't have nothing to do with the castle. Floyd level. The PS the deputy PS might have a little say, but everything belongs to the minister. So that's why we're gonna ask for the removal of the minister. The closing down of Indian Castle, close it down until a proper plan have come up with to move forward, but just close it down. That is my proposal. Until you find somebody who gonna have the interest, gonna manage it properly, bring it back up to par, and if you're gonna do the second phase, you do it. But if not, give away the wires. That's just the reality. You cannot do the second phase until you put in a whole water system. You must put in a water system. You gotta put in a solar pump to pump water to those areas. You cannot add on the next 60 acres expand the water source. You can't do that. You understand? You're not thinking sustainable when every time you jump on the radio you talk about sustainable state and all these things when you're going to go the opposite way. Yes, son. Then people can't lead me, And these people cannot be leading me. All right? That's my part deep on that.
Well, quite interesting. It's sad that is what the situation is. It's sad that we are not necessarily hearing more about it, and it's sad that it had to get to that.
And the week ain't supposed to pass. No, can need to report on Friday, and in the state of Indian Castle, and when you're visiting, and that's how you're reporting. So I'm expecting a report for Friday's show.
Oh yeah, I wish under you for real. I gotta make a trip. I gotta make it this week. I definitely gotta make it before Friday.
I need a report to the public from you, so you can have and see what and look for the shadow and all them different stuff and everything. You should have, no, this is serious.
Yeah, apart from the drone images and pictures and videos I would have seen when it was in its fullness, I would have never gotten a chance to see because I would have been out of state since then. Because I left here 2019.
That minor matters, man. With your meditation, you're gonna know how things are supposed to look with management of crops and plants. You're gonna know.
No, I'm just saying though, it will be my first visit. So when I do go visit, it is actually gonna be my first time visiting. So what I see will be what I see for the first time. And I guess I'll be able to report on that. it's pretty pretty sad to see that such a
And you
project
got
that
and
was
you gotta go before you gotta go before 10 o'clock, And you gotta go before 10 o'clock. You have to go early, cause when done. Remember the workers them now do nothing, so they're gonna left when they want. They show up 9 o'clock, left 9:30. Show up 8 o'clock, left 8:30. So so you have to go there for early step. You have to go for 7 o'clock. We just show up for 8 or whatever. So can definitely not go down for 11 o'clock and 11:30 and 12 o'clock. So you have to go early. You get an early rise and you go there and make sure you wait till you open the gate for you. You're there for 6:30 and you see how long they come to open up the gate for 7 o'clock. Then you go say, why one come for 7, one come for 10 past. Yeah. I want a full report in a Virgin. The people want a full report.
You give me a big work by. You give
So
me a
everything
big
they
job.
say, you can say, boy, everything I say and they put it, I just say you say so. No, because it's what you're going to encounter when you go there and you're going to see it for yourself.
Okay. Oh, sorry. A couple of other things. We're gonna go a little bit outside of St. Kitts and Nevis now a little bit. The OECS agreement, Bankie, in terms of allowing free movement for OECS countries. You don't need, to show no document. You use the ID and you can come in and you can work and you can live. Nobody giving you no time to stay in the territory. What are your thoughts on that and the implications for even some of us, the smaller islands in the OECS territory? I'm not talking CARICOM yet. This is just in relation to those countries that carry the Eastern Caribbean dollar, the OECS, whether it's Grenada, Dominica, St. Vincent, Antigua and Barbuda.
Rule number one, all people don't have to agree to these things if they don't have to, If you do not want it, you don't have to sign on it. You see what I mean? You don't have to be a part.
All of the countries have signed on.
Huh? Well, that's what I'm saying, but you choose to sign on. Huh? I hear you.
I'm saying all of the countries in OECS have signed on to it already.
That's what I'm saying. They choose to. That's what I'm saying. They choose to. But what's going to happen, as you see, already happening, especially when the Mango Festival, I look around and realize it's so much solutions and people from Dominica and Grenada and Jamaica and living in St. Kitts and Nevis. Growing up, these things is just different to me and because we don't grow up like this in a way. We are multicultural and all these different aspects. All of a sudden now, you know what I mean? Somebody from a different place going to want to do disrespect you in front of you and your own. We don't grow up like that, so we operate different. You see what I mean? So everybody moving towards Nevis is foreign, because everything burning to a better life. And a dollar, if you have a higher minimum wage, where some of the Caribbean countries, they are still $9 and $7.25 and all this. And that's so. Yes, people gonna be coming, but just coming with a ID. Yes.
One of the things that I find interesting, and that's why I say sometimes we in St. Kitts and Nevis are sometimes back down because we have elections so often sometimes, and it seems as if we are always in campaign mode. That the politicians too, because of the fact that they're playing politics, take advantage of that and keep us distracted with a lot of these petty parties and political issues, which overshadows a lot of things that's happening within the region. Because this topic is not necessarily a new topic, it's just that it has been recently evoked. But yes. I think it has taken effect since last year. I'm going to read a little thing here. It says the OECS Eastern Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. The OECS is actively pursuing a regional integration and cooperation through various initiatives and agreements. One recent development is a memorandum of understanding signed in July 24, 2025, with AECOM Technical Services, Global Energy Group in Trinidad and the Caribbean Tourism Organization, focusing on sustainable development infrastructure in innovation and clean energy collaboration. Additionally, the OECS is working towards the free circulation of goods and deeper integration in trade and energy education. And they gave a breakdown of some of these things. Um, but you know, we really have to pay closer attention to some of these things. You know?
Yeah, but you use the word there again, sustainable. You see, you see sustainable coming in this within that little excerpt you just read right there. But is sustainable being done within the agricultural sector? Is what you're seeing being done at Hamilton, is that sustainable? Are these things sustainable? Or is just a word when they go to the UN, they come back and want to put it into a sentence. You play with your emotion and use it every time they read a sentence. My brain don't function like so. Because if it's not gonna be conducive where it is tangible, my brain not accept it. He's just talking points. It's pure crap. That's what it is. When people are trying to brainwash you and control your mind by using words over and over and over, spells, my brain ain't receiving that. It's all crap. That's how I do it. Spells, them a work. You understand? Just repetitive. And then they have the directors, then they have this, and everybody using the same words over and over and over. That's when people can you.
I was looking.
Yes.
I think I was reading from the wrong article. So let me go back. This is the article.
I realized that.
Yeah, it says OECS citizens, specifically those from the protocol member states, have the right to live and work in other member states without restrictions due to free movement of persons regime. This includes the ability to reside, establish businesses, and provide services in each other member states. Who are OECS citizens? The OECS Organization of Eastern Caribbean States is a regional grouping of 12 countries in the Eastern Caribbean. The protocol member states, also known as the Original Seven, are Antigua and Barbuda, the Commonwealth of Dominica, Grenada, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. And remember, the article says that right now, this is in effect for the protocol countries, and those are the countries listed. The key aspects of the free movement: indefinite stay. Citizens of these states can live in other member states indefinitely, receiving an OECS free movement indefinite stay stamp upon arrival, according to the OECS. Hassle-free travel. They can travel within the OECS Economic Union with a valid government-issued ID, such as a driver's license, national ID, or voter's ID. Now, this has been in effect for some time. I know that because I tried.
Why something like this haven't been come to each member state as a referendum where they can vote and the people can be a part of this decision if they are comfortable with these things to happen, instead of these buyers in the buyers club coming together and just making decisions for the citizens? Why can't the citizens be a part of the decision making if they want these things to happen? Who want it to happen and they vote on it? That's fine, but just making these decisions.
It comes down to the same argument that I've been making and seeking to hold these people accountable. And when they go and make these decisions without consulting with us, how do we really deal with these things? As we continue here, mutual recognition of driver's licenses. A driver's license from one member state is recognized in others, allowing them to drive without needing a new driver's license, according to the OECS. Free movement of people. The OECS has implemented administrative arrangements to facilitate the free movement of its citizens within the member states, according to the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States. Social security benefits. Initiatives exist to allow citizens to access short-term social security benefits like sickness and maternity benefits immediately upon settling in a host member state. Harmonization. The OECS aims to strengthen the free movement regime through the development of administrative instruments and the contingent rights model bill. Now, these are things that are in effect, Bankie, as we speak, and that's why I'm saying some of these things we might not necessarily be aware of. So sometimes when we are looking at people who are in the territory and we say, oh, the bank water come here, or they come in here to try to benefit from what we have and so on. The reality is we can go to their territories and they can come to ours. We may argue right now we might be in a better position because when we look at our minimum wage in comparison to the minimum wage in some of those territories, we can see why some of them may want to take advantage of what we are here taking for granted. However, I am just bringing these to the fore so that we understand that these are agreements that our leaders would have signed on to, because as the article would have mentioned, it spoke to the protocol countries, and St. Kitts and Nevis happen to be a part of the protocol countries. Let me list them again for the benefit of maybe those who may just be listening. Antigua and Barbuda, there are 7. They said that the OECS Organization of Eastern Caribbean States is a regional grouping of 12 countries in the Eastern Caribbean. The protocol member states, also known as the original 7, are Antigua and Barbuda, the Commonwealth of Dominica, Grenada, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And that means that these 7 countries have already signed on, and all these other things that you hear me highlighted in relation to indefinite stay, hassle-free travel, mutual recognition of driver's licenses, free movement of people, social security benefits, and the harmonization has already been accepted and recognized in these territories. So we can say what we want, and that's why I am bringing it to the table to hear about the possible implications for us in a smaller territory. And we are already arguing that we don't have enough jobs and,
Of course.
and infrastructure.
Yes.
We are struggling with all of these different things and so on. So what are the implications now, knowing that this is our reality? And we're still also looking, so to speak, to have a similar agreement with CARICOM, which is the wider Caribbean community as well. So I just brought it as a topic to the table so that, like I said, you know, we don't have to respond right away. Even if we don't have a response right now, those who are listening, you know, can, you know, begin to let that sink
Well,
in.
you know, I think it's Nevis for one. You know, our people, when they leave, they go to England, they go to the US, they go to Canada and places like that. I mean, unless if it's 1 or 2 doctors might be working in 1 or 2 other Caribbean countries as professionals, but you really don't see the lesser community and migrating to another Caribbean countries like that. You just really don't see it. You see those from the other Caribbean countries coming to us to be now in, and that's it. They are tradesmen, they are those in the telecommunication area, in the banking area. They come to us, we don't really move to them. So it's going to really affect us more. You see, but my thing is, when decisions like these have been made, the people need to be a part of it. They vote on these issues. These people don't have no respect for the people, my virgin. They just go and pass all kind of laws, and in the night, they don't even have a club out. Boom, 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 boom. 3 reading in the house one time.
This is what I keep saying, you know, this is what I keep saying. The problem is us. That's why I tell you, me differ in terms of how we look at these things, because I keep saying that we are the bosses and we are allowing these things to happen. We are the bosses until we get to realize that.
But when you realize, you know, the same people who put them there and don't hold them accountable, and they put in all these laws and allowing all these things, it's going to affect them too. They're going to be the same one who are contractors, who are business people and so forth, realize their business is failing because of the same friends of politicians, them suck up to and laugh up to and all these things and let them with and screw them over. Then I realized it.
You know, the same people who going to come to you and complain, but they would never call you into the talk shows where they are and tell them, well, by the things that you do, they don't agree with. And when it comes to the voting, they still going to vote for them. They're going to tell you, by all these things wrong with them, you know. But then, I still going to vote for them like I'm a party. I got to support my party.
Of course.
I got to support my representative. Yes. So, them things don't make no sense to me. You understand? So, that's just how I am. I am seeking to get my people to understand that we need to, it's a time now, especially the younger generation, between 18 and 35, y'all need to begin to take what is going on in the country seriously, and y'all need to be able to listen to both sides or all of the sides, because there are independent candidates coming out now as well. Listen, be informed
Yes.
and recognize that you all are the bosses and you all have a great say. But you all could only have that say if you're informed and then you go out and do what is absolutely necessary. Because even making all the noise and calling in on the talk shows don't mean much if you don't go out at the time when it's necessary to make the X for or against whoever. And that is where the cookie crumbles. And when the government
Yes, so
realizes that
if you're going to live in an economy where you have people must have small businesses what run the economy and for all institutions, and so especially within a society, you must have people must have access to money, no matter if up to now I'm trying to figure out if culture must start, me still last some time because you know see the wow, you know feel the energy, nothing. It's just last week the Pope they signed they done this about the bypass road for 51, and then they add a masquerade to it, can the masquerade have been there? So better pay attention. You see, let me put it over the next, put it up overnight. I pay attention to what goes on around me. So people can't blind me and think I don't just want them to go fool. You see, because me not join, me not part of nothing. You see? So me a yes person. I could see things what it is because then I have to transfer the information to my youth them. So they could see for themselves. Go to church. Go to church. Can you see in the wickedness there? Go to church. You can you see the same people inside there. When they come out, you also want to deal with you. So I encourage them to do these things and learn these systems for themselves. Because then they're going to think for themselves. And when they get older, they're going to separate themselves from these things. Because they're going to see it. So I don't hide them from things. I encourage them to, because that is how I was. So I go with drag when you learn these systems, you see the evilness within inside of them. Because the voters them are the same ones who go to church and the same ones them who love and they see the wrongness they're doing. It's gonna affect all of us. It's gonna affect their children, their grandchildren, and the children are born. Even the generation are born yet. When these things happening. But yes, son, we about the time. Where we at?
Yeah, I was just about to say that we got about 5 more minutes for the 2 hours. We got just about 4 more minutes. I was gonna
Okay.
take this time to, as you mentioned, Culturama and not feeling Culturama. I wanted to interject that I feel based on what I'm seeing here.
Before you go there, let me send out condolences to Everton Griffin, Virgin Gary Griffin brother. I mean, they found him in this house deceased, and also my Virgin Daddy Shakes, great sportsman, footballer, stuff like that, name as youth and stuff like that. I always check for me and so forth and stuff like that. Great truckman, backup operator, and work within the system for a long time. He and Gary Everton passed away within the same a day after around each other the same week. So my condolences to the whole family of both families. I know Gary is a good friend of mine. Shakes as a good virgin of mine, and Everton. Me he get along very good, very work on my vehicles and stuff like that. Great gentleman, you know what I mean? Always smiling, always positive. So it's a great loss within the community because he's a business person and I've served the community well. So I just want to, I gotta go and find Gary. I'm just giving him some time to grieve because I know he and his family is very close and it's just very tough suddenly. One of the things I want to say to YAHSONN, I see this thing. Once a man reach over the age of 50 or 60, he's supposed to be living, our female, they should not be living alone. But we are finding too much of our men, especially dying and just in a home by themselves. We got to get out this mind frame where you don't want nobody living with you and you don't want this and all that. After a certain age, we are not designed to be by ourselves. You see what I mean? You have to have a mate. Okay, if you have a belly ache, I have a headache, whatever it is. No, you can't even dial a number. So you need somebody to be next to you. That's the reality. It's too much over the years. You find people finding their loved one in homes by themselves and stuff like that. So we need to the society really need to change these things, and the men and the female and the man and them need to. At certain age, you're just not designed to be by yourself, my virgin. 60 something, 70 something, 80 something, you're home living by yourself. This thing don't make no sense. You know what I mean? It just don't. There's a lot of
premature deaths happening. Just wanted to put that out there, YAHSONN.
All right, no problem. I'll wrap up with this point that as I am here and I'm seeing the wastage of mangoes, and now I'm seeing guineps, and I would have seen wax apple, gone to waste as well. I do see sometimes a lot of carambola go to waste and so on. And I'm thinking that, there really need to be a better program taking place with the agro processing and the local markets, find a way to encourage. Don't pick up just have seasons for these things, Be more creative, create more products. If you need to, create them at a level where you can then give them to the home retailers, the vendors, and so on, so that you can encourage them. Sell the kind of cultural armor. That's the point I really wanted to make. You know that you're going to be bringing home a lot of these people for cultural armor. I anticipate a lot of these people coming home. Why not seek to marry the like mango? Let them bring in all the mango they can find. Don't pick out. Bring in all and just make a whole heap of mango product. Mango ice cream, mango ice lolly, mango sucker, mango. So that the children who come in into, because my parents want the mango itself, because they have some mango like that. But you might find the children might not necessarily be interested in that, but they might be interested in eating a fruit pop, ice cream, a sorbet, things that they may be accustomed to and so on. Why not we maximize that and even not just do it because of the amount that we have? Why not just think of exporting this, marketing? This is where you come in. Seek to create markets outside, whether it's the hotels, whether it's in St. Martin, whether it's in Anguilla, get up, make ice cream and sell them the ice cream, sell them the pulp, sell them, whatever it is. But at least, because these are things you can store. If you freeze it, I keep it on the chill. After you have processed it, it can last a very long time as well. So I'm thinking, that marriage between agriculture and culture to be able to make it economic activity, and not just in mango alone. I just use mango as an example because that is what is available right now. But like, for example, you had tamarind was a part of the tourism week activity. That could have been a part of, while you're looking for tamarind for that, have that extra to be able to make a lot of tamarind balls that people can get around that time, and tamarind jam, and, tamarind juice and things like that. I don't know, but these are just things that I'm seeing, and it's a way that we can help to stimulate economic activity and help to, create revenue generation for agriculture, the agriculture department, and also for the average homeowners. And with that, Bankie, I just want to wrap up and tell everybody who would have been listening to us, thank you for being a part of the topics. We started a bit late, but we had a very interesting edition of Real Talk Corner before, as featured the New Wave Band, and we just had to give them that time. We really have to support the youths, and we just still opted to come and give you a 2 hour. So for those of you who stayed up the extra time with us, we are really grateful that you would have done that as well. And we want to encourage you to look out for us on Friday for another edition of Everything Agriculture, and then next week, Tuesday, for another edition of the Topics here on Real Entertainment Network. And we want to say thanks to the whole Real Entertainment Network's team. Thank you guys for the support and the cooperation, and the commitment over the years and the weeks. Without you guys, nothing is possible. So we give thanks, everybody, give thanks. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube platform. No respect, everybody. Guidance and detection. I guess I probably may have to keep the mic busy until we get in touch with our assistant who will be taking us out of here. Let me see how we can do that now.
Just want to encourage those who are listening and viewing to visit the Indian Castle, Fuji Archer Hanley's Road, and when they run into the ministers, we ask them what's going on with down there and why the places look like that and what is there, and encourage them to close it down. Also, those to visit the Hamilton Sugar Estate and ask their minister also in the area represent what's going on with that project and why they have been silent about it, and how can they give away
a living museum of our ancestors, you understand, have sweat and still ain't being compensated and yet given back into the hands of the colonizers who family benefited from these things. Who all are benefited by giving away this thing? Because why is the silent project going on when no one's speaking about it? And coming this Friday is the Mansion Day, and the same representative gonna go down by the Hamilton Museum, by the Christian disaster, go lay reef, and we see my ancestors, Macquarie. And that's why my environment, I mean, my youth, they're going to be different because nobody going to lie to my youth and them. And at the same time, come in and smile in the face and playing honorable when they know they're not honorable. You know, they're not. We have too much mafia system going on around here, wearing suits and ties and canning the people like that. So, no. We need a recall of the Hamilton Sugar Estate where those how they are benefiting, hand it back over to the people of Nevis, of Orly. You can't come in here from South Africa or wherever you come from as a Wazunga, as a white man, as a foreigner, and own our precious monuments, making money off of it, and want to be doing tours and teaching history. What kind of people we have leading us and silent about these things? Huh? How madness these things will be. You get through your son. All right. Let me check.
Off with somebody else, off with the jerk. Shame on me, I really thought that it could work. Off with somebody else, off with the loser. Shame on me, I really thought we had a. Lately I be having conversations with myself cause I feel like I have nobody.